What? So sick and tired of a draw. After the 6-2 win and the first leg, thought there'll be goals galore, but I never saw a whole 90 minutes so poor. Head down, knees to the floor, cause I gotta pray to the Lord, cause I'm a Christian Dior. Don't wanna see Fred no more, and I don't wanna settle for top four. Thank God that Chelsea beat City, cause I don't really wanna see them lift four. But I wanna see Martial hit form, do we sell him or do we keep him? I'm torn. Lord, do we sell him or do we keep him? I'm torn. What? So sick and tired of a draw. After the 6-2 win and the first leg, thought there'll be goals galore, but I never saw a whole 90 minutes so poor. Head down, knees to the floor, cause I gotta pray to the Lord, cause I'm a Christian Dior. Don't wanna see Fred no more, and I don't wanna settle for a top four. Thank God that Chelsea beat City, cause I don't really wanna see them lift four. But I wanna see Martial hit form, do we sell him or do we keep him? I'm torn. What? Do we sell him or do we keep him? I'm torn. What? Yo, this is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Yo, it's your boy Firms, and we're back again with another one with NK. Look, Manchester United 0, Leeds 0. I am fuming, but you know what? The face don't show it, but inside I'm fuming. Look, let's get into it. Thanks. I'm going to start this off by how I always start it off, the formation. What did you think of the formation, man? The player selection, everything.
Well, the formation is always the same, really. He always played the same. Only, I think last season was the only time where he used to play the threat at the back for the big games. But I think now he's kind of like just said, you know what, this is going to be my formation, kind of like going forward. The selection, I think, to be honest with you, I was a bit surprised that Rashford started. I felt like maybe he should have just rested him completely because he's going to start again. Huh?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why Rashford is starting and Van der Beek is not playing. Because we all know Van der Beek is not going to play, on Thursday. He's not playing. He's not starting. So why don't you just give him a game? You know, if you're going to leave players like Cavani on the bench until like it's like, what, 82nd minute or so, then there's no point even playing Bruno Fernandes. Just like start Van der Beek. Just give this place a run out. You know, rest and play. Luke Shaw should not be playing today because once again, he's going to play at midweek. You know, the Premier League is dead. It's just dead. So I don't know. I only just surprised me with his team selection, to be honest.
Yeah. I think when I saw it as well, I think we could, because the Premier League basically, I know we don't want to make, the thing is, right, is I'm not surprised they played Rashford. And until when Oli feels like he's fully clear and safe, probably until when he's crossed the line of finishing second, or the Premier League is no longer unattainable, is when I feel like he's going to be like, you know what, Rashford, you can rest, or Shaw, you can rest, or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I've been seeing him do the same things with the same players for the whole season. So I'm not surprised there in terms of his selection. But what I would have liked to see, you know, is the substitutions made sooner. Okay, yeah, he picked his squad. I was expecting to see Dan James because of the first leg. You know what I mean? Pogba was expecting him to sit out on bench because of the good job that Scott McTominay and Fred done with keeping up with the pace of Leeds, because, you know, they're relentless. I was expecting all of that. It's just Pogba came on in the 70th minute. I watched that whole game thinking we need to make those subs earlier. Do you know what I mean? I saw Dan James, like, he needed to be subbed off a whole lot sooner than what he got subbed off. He didn't really contribute.
Don't get me started on James, man. Don't get me started.
Bro, it was flat. I mean, I thought I was going to see the flash end-to-end football. And at times, we did see it, like little pockets in the game. But other than that, it was dry. And I just thought, you know what? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised about the starting lineup. But again, the substitutions pissed me off. And I wasn't happy about Oli again reverted back to his old ways. Like, think like Pogba. Pogba came on the 70th minute.
Right, I think 72nd minute. You giving him 2 minutes. 72nd minute.
Donny Van der Beek came on at like the 88th minute.
88th minute. What, bro? You know, if I will come on. You know, I just said that I'm not coming on. Like, what am I going to come on to do?
What is
you know? Because look, Fred and McTominay had a very terrible game. They had a very terrible game, and the way Oli plays, I'm just gonna make this prediction for next season, and I'm gonna be ruthless. Man United are not gonna win the Premiership next season, and that is a fact. Because the last time when we played, I think against Burnley, and I told you that even if we played and we had a game in hand over Man City and we went like a point or so ahead of them, they will still come back and win the league. And this is just exactly what I mean by that. I don't know if it's the fear, and I'm not even going to blame the players. I'm going to blame the manager here because I feel like it's the fear the manager kind of like put, like his team selection show it, the way we approach games show it. It's like, I don't know right now if he want to hold on to that unbeaten away record more than win games, because football is about risk. During Ferguson time, one of the ways that we win, if it was like back in the day and it was 0-0, our centre back will be up there trying to get a last minute goal. And that's a team that's normally going for a league. That's what they do. You will see Harry Maguire over there, and if they're gonna like do it long, it just go long, and then someone just, but then it just, even when it's like 80th minute, they just still passing it slow, and then you just don't know what's going on. And what do you call it? I remember a few weeks back, they were saying on commentary that once the fans come into the stadium, around that, like you feel like around 88th minute, Old Trafford, they're gonna be passing it slow, and then the fans are gonna be like, yeah, go on. They're gonna be booing them or just telling them like, just hurry the hell up and just get something going. Our like, it's just very flat. It's just very flat, too slow. I don't know.
Flat, losing the ball. Even when we try to speed up the tempo, we can't even maintain the ball. It's just a lot of like in our minds. I know we come out of it and say, oh, like to the end, we're gonna keep fighting. But it feels like we've already forgotten about the Premier League. It feels like we've taken that game for granted. And at times we take a lot of our games for granted. And are probably half of our minds on the Europa League game. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get over the line with that. But that's not the mentality I agree that United should be having, where we're just passing it around slack at the 80th minute. We're just like, the eagerness is gone. And I think our team really lacking. We're really lacking someone that is like aggressive. Like we really do need like a Roy Keane. To like the fear factor in this team is non-existent. No one is on the pitch like, what is everyone on? I'm like, are you crazy? No one's there doing it no more. Like, gone are the days where we used to have like, even from not my team, but used to have guys like Vieiras and all of these guys where they were like leaders saying, you know what, we're not settling for this. United just feels like we're just happy to coast now. We're just happy to coast, and there's no way going to set us in good stead for next season. But you know what? I noticed that there was a couple tactics that Bielsa tried to imply against Manchester United, man, with the man marking. And it looked like it frustrated the hell out of Bruno Fernandes. And I used to love that man marking when we used to play against City or whoever like that. I was at Liverpool where we used to have Herrera that will do it and just clamp, man mark guys and clamp them out of the game. And we got a bit of a taste of our own medicine because it looked like Bielsa implied that same tactic. And you see Bruno Fernandes like stressing out. You see Greenwood stressing out, sort of throwing elbows. You see guys like switching positions to try and lose guys. And I think Calvin did a really good job in that sense. But Manchester United didn't have enough, right, to like overcome those tactics. Now, when I saw that, I thought, okay, they're doing a man marking system. We've got two guys in the midfield, right, who can't break away, can't get free, Scott McTominay and Fred. Wouldn't you want a bit more creativity, elusiveness? Donny van der Beek and Paul Pogba are guys, right, that, okay, you're man marking Paul Pogba, but he's like a mountain. He ain't going to affect Paul Pogba anyway. You'll bounce off him and he'll pass that ball on. Or you've got Donny van der Beek, his movement is, in and out, he's great around the box. It's hard to keep up with him. I felt like when we made those subs, it was so late that these guys didn't have enough time to even embed, to even have any opportunity, right, to combat those tactics by Bielsa. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, our team, we don't have, like, an attacking play. It's more kind of like a freedom kind of like thing. Only kind of like give the attacking players kind of like freedom to kind of like play from the front, So they kind of like use their football knowledge. And this is where we kind of like struggle a lot because I feel like Bruno, Rashford, and even, what do you call it? I'm going to add Daniel James and Greenwood today. The players I played today, they play differently. Rashford, when he get a ball, he want to do too much before he pass the ball. He just wants stuff to happen too often. And you go Daniel James too, where he like to play simple. He go hiding with attacking play. He just get it, and then he what do you call it? He would have pass it. And then you go Bruno to where I feel like sometimes he get frustrated, so he just want to do things too quickly too. And today, I feel like two of our best chances fell to Daniel James, and then he missed both of them because he get missing all the time too. With the one-on-one kind of like marking, Bruno, let's just face it, Bruno hasn't played well for almost like about a month or two now. But obviously, one thing about him too is he will get you there all kind of like going. I think his influence on the pitch too is very kind of like key. But good managers know how to kind of like today. Leeds tactics was just spot on, because once you take Bruno Fernandes off the team, there is no one else to do it. I read at halftime, one of the stats was that McTominay completed 7 passes. And that's your midfielder that's supposed to see more of the ball. He completed 7. So guys like Greenwood, and then this is the frustration where sometimes people will be having a go at Martial and stuff like that. It don't matter who you pull up front. You are not getting that services if the midfielders are not getting on the ball or if they're not controlling the ball. Right. And today you saw a perfect example of that too. Greenwood, I hardly even saw him on the game today. Daniel James, obviously, you know how he is. He get a ball, pass it, just start running because he always want to go hiding. He kind of like, in a way, want to avoid the ball. He don't want the ball there, you know. And I feel like sometimes Rashford need a bit of what Daniel James have, and Daniel James need a bit of what Rashford have. Sometimes Rashford get a ball, pass it, and go. That's what when people man mark you, that's one of the things that you want to do quickly. You get a ball, pass it, and just like run, make it harder for them. But the movement today, it was just poor. It was really poor.
And you touched on it. I think the movement was bad. I thought guys were confused. I remember, like you said, so when you said about Dan James' chance, I remember Rashford slipping in Dan James, and that opportunity just scuffed it, and then Leeds done a counter attack, and then he was that guy with a hit, Costa sort of deflection, and it kind of saved us. But I looked at chances where you had Bruno Fernandes and Daniel James making the same run through the middle, and it was a perfectly good opportunity, man. And they both just like miscommunication. I think Dan James in his stride noticed Bruno, left it for Bruno, but Bruno left it for Dan James, and it was a chance wasted.
Yeah, but then that ball, Daniel James is supposed to take control because he is the one who had the first touch. So realistically, good players, if it was Rashford would never leave that ball for Bruno. And that's what I'm talking about. Daniel James always go hiding. He don't want the ball because he knows when he get the ball, it's going to be. There was one chance that he went in and then he touched it, and then I don't know what he touched. It was just when you give the ball to him, you don't expect nothing. It's like I said, even as a fan, you don't expect nothing from him, to be honest.
But this is my thing with our front three. If we're playing a front three, there should be like trust. There should be everyone should be at a level where, do you know what? If this ball falls to me, I'm gonna put it away. Not like to say, I guess like Dan James, there's times when you would feel like a pass is better than you taking it on because there's someone else that's better capable of finishing it, like a Cavani for instance, like if he's out wide or whatever. But I also feel like there's an element, right, of having trust in yourself, having trust, your teammate having trust in you, and vice versa. That if they see you, because the element of it, I was looking at Bruno and Dan James running that. I don't think Bruno would have been making that run, like you said, if it was Rashford or if it was Cavani doing the same thing. I think he would have probably even dropped back and said, you know what,
right,
you do your thing. But because it was Dan James, I don't even think that Bruno even kind of trust. I thought he almost wanted Dan James to fully leave it to say, you know what, it's mine. And Dan James kind of half-heartedly did that. And that's what created that confusion. But the issue is we've got guys up top that, you know, the trust ain't there. Their trust ain't there. I mean, you should be able to have 3 guys that are complete finishers. Like, you look at Liverpool, over there, they're doing terribly. You got Firmino, Mane, Salah. Each of them will be like happy to say, you know what, this is yours. Like, fine, like do your thing. Or City, you know, with their front 3, whoever that is, De Bruyne, whoever, or Bernardo Silva, or Sterling, whoever. I'm not saying that they're going to score all the time, but that thing went there. And I noticed that today. I was just thinking, you guys are just, it's just frustrating with our front 3.
It's just frustrating. And you know what? I don't even think it's only the front. So I think it's the players too. Because look, I play football a bit, yeah. And I'm going to tell you, there are some games that, look, when I'm not a good footballer, you know, I was okay. And then I remember there was one game that we were playing when it was like 0-0. Because obviously, you know, it's a Saturday league, and then sometimes the manager wanted to kind of prepare. I played defense, and then we were losing. And it was like 0-0, and then they were making a sub, and then they were bringing me what I could see my own teammate just looking at the manager. It's like, what the hell are you bringing him on for? You know, I was even asking myself, like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, they need to go. I'm not gonna do nothing. So I think it's a bit like that when players like Bruno Fernandes are playing with like Daniel James, like they kind of like feel the frustration. And even when they talk, you will never see any Man United player coming to the team and just say, oh yeah, Pogba has been improving like recently, or Pogba has been. No, they always say, look, Pogba is a very talented player. He's one of the best players there. Whereas if they have to talk about players like Fred, they're like, oh yeah, he's come like too far. Now, obviously, when he came, he was struggling. Now he's just doing good. You never hear them talk about players like Bruno and stuff. And good players like to play with good ones, you know. Pogba enjoy playing with Bruno Fernandes, and it's vice versa. I think Daniel James, I feel like next season he needs to go. He needs to go because I don't see as an attacking player, I don't see what he does for the team. If we're playing three at the back and he's playing like a wing back or something, then I see something. But as an attacking player, I don't know. He just, I don't know what he gave us going forward, to be honest.
He can be used as a Victor Moses or something. Do you know what I mean? One of them ones where you're playing threat like an attacking, but even then, his defending's not that great. I mean, he tracks and everything, but in terms of like taking a ball off the opponent, even as a defender, he's gonna leave you kind of like, I don't know, but yeah, he could be used as a, yeah, like you said, but five at the back system. But he's got to go. I'm hoping that Leeds are still interested, and maybe you can get that loan, and then with a view of it becoming permanent or whatever, raising up the cash like we did with Lingard. Because right now, we need better quality, man. We really do need better quality. I mean, Dan James is not gonna beat a man. He's too predictable, man. He can't.
Too predictable. Like I said, as I said to you, you know, like Rashford, for example, when he get a ball, sometimes he want to take people on. His only guilty is that it's a Premiership. They will like you will hardly get one-on-one with like defenders. So anytime he get a ball, you have like 2-3 players there. Sometimes he just need to pass it. James, if you watch James never want to take players on. Never. He get a ball and just passes it. And for an attacking player, that is just the worst thing you want to do, you know, always. And even when he crossed, he's not aiming for no player. He just literally just whip the ball and just hope like someone is just there, you know. Yeah. So as an attacking player, you need an attacking player that they're just going to do something. Either they are assisting or they are getting to space to kind of like cross. He just there. And it shows you when your manager is picking him. And Oli actually described Daniel James as the best defensive winger. The best defensive winger. And that just shows you why he's in the team. He's not in there to attack. He's just there to literally help the team defend. And if you go Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who I feel like defensive-wise, he's very good, you know? So he don't really need help, kind of like a players tracking back most of the time, because most of the time he just don't really go forward too much. So if it was like Luke Shaw position and he's there, I understand. But on the right-hand side, we don't really need help kind of like tracking back, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's only effective when there's crazy space, when you're slipping in through balls that he can run onto. That's it. Other than that, he's dead. And that hardly happens in the Premier League. I mean, he'll be a star in maybe a different league, you know, maybe Spanish or Italian, whatever type of football where they play a different style of football. Or in a different team where you got to come up against a lot of teams that are doing a low block against you. Manchester United, most of the opponents is going to be low block, so it's not working for us. Maybe in Leeds, where opponents are attacking them more, it will have the opportunity to do his thing. But for Man United, it's not working. But do you know what? Talking about poor performances, Wan-Bissaka you mentioned, I think Wan-Bissaka had a decent game today. I remember messaging during the game thinking like, obviously Southgate was there chilling, right, in his notes, you know, thinking about, you know, who's going to be in the England team. And Wan-Bissaka thought, obviously Shaw does his thing. He's been doing his thing. Wan-Bissaka is obviously like here and there, but I thought today he gave a decent account of himself. I think there was one time where I was just like, what's wrong with this guy? There may have been different moments for other people, but I saw one moment where it was, I don't know if it was Costa or someone else, right? And they drew in like 3 of our defenders on the left-hand side, on Wan-Bissaka's side. And the player just lobbed it over the 3 men, and then the player was able to run in behind and then have like all this space. I don't even know what minute that was, but I remember that I was just thinking the concentration there was gone. Wan-Bissaka left his man, ran to the ball, and basically left us exposed. But outside of that, I felt like Wan-Bissaka in general, his attacking style of play is improving. I think he's getting forward a lot more. He's supporting, like he doesn't lose the, like when he's got the ball, trying to support the attacking play. He's not someone that I fear that is going to lose the ball. He does well to actually retain the ball as well, which is a good thing. And obviously, like just whipping crosses and stuff like that and support with the attack. But hopefully, he can keep on improving on that sense. And I think, like, if you're going to say man of the match from me, I would probably say it is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but a toss up between Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof. Who would you say?
I don't know. My man, I'll give the man of the match for the fans who watched it today, because that was a terrible game. It was a terrible game. So I give the man of the match to the fans to sit through that. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka today, he had a good game today. But I'm just gonna be a bit kind of like critical of him too. At the same time too, like his hold-up play is improving. Attacking wise, he's good on the ball. So he's when he has to hold on to the ball, he's very good. But one thing you expect from your fullback, which even with Luke Shaw too, we used to be very frustrated with his because like he didn't used to put a lot of like crossing in, or he didn't used to kind of like impact too much of the attack. And I feel like almost like he goes forward. I mean, his hold-up play is a bit kind of like good, but what do you need from your fullback? Your fullback's supposed to be like get the crosses in, you know? He doesn't do that. Today, I don't even know how many times he actually put a cross inside, you know? So I feel that's the bit that he needs to kind of like improve. I feel like this is his last season. Next season, I expect more from him. You know, I see how Luke Shaw is playing. I expect him to be doing stuff like that, going more attacking and putting in kind of like good crosses too. You know, just start kind of like doing that kind of a thing. In terms of like his England chances, I don't know. I feel like he need to go play for DR Congo or something, because I don't think he will get into the England team.
It's
you know,
because like he's probably one of the best defense. He's probably the best defensive fullback, one of them in Europe.
Yeah, but that's what I'm just trying to say. He can be the best defensive back. If you look at the quality of right backs that they got, he's playing with even Trent, who didn't even get into the team. And you know, attacking wise, he offer you more, but obviously defensive back, he's a problem. But football is about scoring goals, you know. So if you put like say Wan-Bissaka out and you two go one behind, you are just stuck with him there, because going attacking wise, he's not going to make an impact. So then are you going to make a substitution where you take your right back off and bring on another right back, or what? Like, you know, so it is just one of the things. Like when you put your like Reece James or Trent there too, and I feel like there's that Atletico Madrid guy too, Trippier too, who's also there too. So he got a big competition too. You know, if a team keep good possession of the ball, naturally they will not face a lot of like defending to do. You know, they will not have a lot of defending to do, and that's what I feel like England. I feel like he's probably right now England. I feel like he's like the fourth choice right back.
I mean, to be honest, I do feel like Wan-Bissaka, he has improved, and that is always a good thing. So he's like what 20? I don't know how old it is. Maybe 22, 23. No more than 24, I would say, but he's pretty young. And I saw him at Palace where his attacking threat was like dead. He come to Manchester United, and I know that they've been working it. You can see them working on it. But I feel with someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka is what would benefit him and what would help him is him knowing who's in front of him. Having that consistent like link up with that person that's going to be in front of him. If it's constantly Greenwood, fine. If it's constantly Dan James, fine. Whoever it is, it just needs to be fine. And there's been a lot of guys that's played on his side, from Pogba's to even Bruno. It's just been a mess. So right. How that communication, that bonding that he has with that person in front of him, it's not really beneficial to him, I would say. Secondly, I just feel like if we do get a signing, Sancho, wink, wink, I'm thinking that would help his attacking play a lot more. So obviously, Sancho will be able to do his thing on the right attack without the worry of having to babysit Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but also with Sancho pressing forward, doing his thing, being able to beat a guy, being able to create spaces, it will allow Wan-Bissaka to find these little pockets where he can do the overlap, get into spaces where it's dangerous for the opposition, and make an impact, hopefully. That's what I'm thinking that maybe will arise from next season from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But what I have seen is a gradual increase in terms of his output. with the England squad, it's like you said, it's a challenge because in my mind, with Walker, with Trent,
I forgot about him too. Yeah,
there's too much. There's a lot. And Kyle Walker, for me, I think is the best balanced right back so far. I think Trent is obviously the best attacking, but I think the best balanced is Walker. Then you've got all these games like that Reece James guy for Chelsea. Yep. There's a lot of competition right now.
You got Trippier from Atletico Madrid too there too.
And even Trippier is a guy as well that I feel like, I know Manchester United's got our priorities and we've been talked about too, to be looking at right wingers, DMs, strikers, whatever it is, centre backs. Right back has not really been suited. And I know we've been linked with Cresswell when we was trying to get Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I do feel like there's certain games, like this one, where we could have thought, you know what, let's have someone more attacking right back instead of having to play Aaron Wan-Bissaka like we do sometimes if I know Shaw's a good balance, right? So Tellers don't really get a look in, but for right back, I feel like someone like Trippier, who's probably got a year left on his contract or going into a year, or maybe even being something like that anyway with Trippier, it could be a good option. He's cheap, he's more experienced, he can teach Aaron Wan-Bissaka a bit or two. You're saying no. I feel like we can fill that void, spend little change with Trippier, because it's all about balancing your finances, right? Trying to get we got a lot to do. We've got a lot of positions to plug, right? And I don't want us to be thinking, okay, let's go and get someone that's going to cost 30, 40 million and Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to be the guy that's playing 80% of the games anyway. It's almost like our striker position if Cavani leaves. Like what angle are we trying to hit this at? Trying to get a Haaland, which we can't afford, or
right?
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm happy with.
Yeah, the Trippier, don't get me wrong, Trippier will be a very good signing. It will be a good signing too. But don't forget, we got Delop there too, at AC Milan, who's also on loan too. And he is also a good at going attacking forward too. My problem is not necessarily signing Trippier. My problem is, if he comes, is he even going to play? Because we have the same problem at left back too. Our manager, and today, that's one thing I'm going to touch on too with our rotation. Everybody talk about, oh, City got a great squad. But this is a perfect example. We got a big game on Thursday coming, and this guy is still playing some of his best players there too. Like City, Rashford will get rest today. You know, Rashford will get rest today. Just give someone a chance today. I told you, you go Van der Beek. If this was last season, we'll be talking about, oh, we need a player like Van der Beek to come in there and then help Bruno so that Bruno can get rest and everything. We got someone like Van der Beek inside, and what does Bruno do too? Play week in, week out, and we're giving Van der Beek, 5 minutes of game time. You get Trippier coming too, it's going to be the same thing too. He is not going to get no game time because only prioritize the defending more than the attacking. And it's just going to be, I don't know. Right now, I just feel like we're just wasting, in terms of like building a squad, most of the time, it just I don't know what Ole wants to, in order to do like squad rotation, because he got some of the players to do squad rotation. He just don't do them, you know? And our left back too, it's similar to what they call it. It's similar to Trippier, because he's good crossing the ball with set pieces too. He's going to do that left back, but he don't get to play. I don't care if Luke Shaw is having the best form of his life. Certain games, you rest him so that he don't get injured. You know, today was a game that he didn't need to play. Put him inside there too. Like, what's the point of paying him wages if he can't get these odd games to play?
And that's I think one of my worries is the fact that we're not talking about right back because Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been so good avoiding injury, right? He's had a few knocks here and there, but overall, I feel like in that position, once we get an injury, it will expose us quite massively, because, you know what I mean, this season, I don't think there's anyone that could have done that job to that level in our squad at all. You got Brandon Williams, but I don't think he'll be able to survive, you know what I mean, a full season like he did that other time he tried on the left. But I don't think he'll be able to do it. And I do feel like we're kind of resting on we're kind of getting complacent in terms of our squad. And I feel like we do need cover. Like, if Shaw was to get a long-term injury, at least I know we've got Tellers to hold the fort. Wan-Bissaka, if I can't say the same in terms of cover. Even if Bruno Fernandes was to get a long-term injury, touch wood, or Pogba, at least, you know, if you didn't want to use Donny van der Beek before, damn well sure you got to be using him more now. You'll be forced to. And Oli, a lot of the time, we've seen people come into play because he was forced to make a decision. Do you know what I mean? He was forced to, and I think we need to be smart in the transfer window in terms of how we spend our money and get the most out of it. Because I was one of those guys that was screaming Haaland, right? Obviously, Dortmund want whatever money they want from him. And I looked at it against City, against that opposition they came against City. Haaland was non-existent. That was 150 million euros there that hardly got a touch of the ball because they were squeezed out, tactically dominated. And your asset could have been more spread nicely in the team where you're actually giving them a good challenge rather than someone that's being isolated. You can isolate a striker real easy. Focus on the midfield and stuff. You'll isolate a striker. And I don't want this happening to us where I know we need more creativity with Jadon Sancho, which will be a plus, but I want us to also be able to spread the money across to the areas that we need. And a DM for me is very important because there should be no reason why Pogba is sitting on the bench. There should be no reason, unless you're trying to rest him for Champions League advanced stages or whatever like that. There's no reason why you should be resting him. And where you can have one solid good DM and then allow Pogba and Bruno to sit in front of him and do their thing, get your Wilfred and Diddy, let these guys, you know what I mean? Then all this man marking is less strenuous than someone like Bruno Fernandes because he's got Pogba next to him. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And you have touched on, I feel like to be honest with you, two of my key positions that we need a lot is a defensive midfielder, and also we need like a creative right winger, you know, to kind of like help. And you know, with Fred and McTominay, it's just very frustrating just because I mean today everybody's like, oh, maybe we played bad because maybe we've forgotten about the Premiership too. But we have been playing like this the whole season. You know, we have been playing the whole film. McFred, they are just literally the worst like midfielders you will have in a team that's gonna go to win the league. You know, Fred have scored 1 goal in a whole Premier League. I don't even want to know his assist. You know, he's awful on the ball. McTominay is awful on the ball. So sometimes you are left with like people like Harry Maguire holding on to the ball too much because when he get the ball, let's face it, he don't want to give it to Fred or he will want to give it to what they call it, McTominay, because when you give it to them, they're not really gonna see the pass. Just go there. Fred played the ball a bit more kind of like quicker sometimes compared to McTominay, but they just, I don't know. We just need someone, as you said, a defensive midfielder. And then you have Pogba there. Today, Pogba was not being rested. Pogba did not play because Oli felt like he needed those two midfielders to be running around. That's all it was, because if it was about resting, I feel like Bruno need more rest than Pogba do. But it was just about, I don't know why. That's what I said to you. Oli is just too scared. And I feel like, you know what, it's so important we win this Europa League, because I feel like after that, maybe he's going to just loosen up that change, that kind of like fear of having always to have those two players sitting. I feel like he fear losing too much, you know, so he don't want to take the risk most of the time. But if you don't take risks, we are not going to win games, you know. So winning the cup, I think, is going to do confidence for Ole a lot. So when he wins something, he say, hey, you know what, the team have won something. So in this kind of like games and stuff like that, let me just leave the two defensive. Let me just play one holding defender. Let me play Pogba and your Bruno. And if we are winning, then I will take Pogba off and bring a DM on to just kind of like cover the lead. You don't start with that. You finish a game like that, but you don't start a game like that, you know, not against the smaller teams.
Yeah, facts. I feel like we are missing a point. I feel like we are missing the beat as well with Donny van de Beek. I can almost picture like how a Pep or Klopp will use this squad that we have. Do you know what I mean? I can just picture whether it's a formation, how you manage to get Bruno Fernandes in the team with Pogba, with Donny van de Beek. I can just picture how and what these guys would do. I feel like the talent that we've got sitting on the bench with Donny van de Beek is being totally wasted. The creativity, you know what I mean? Even in the last game, he only came on for a couple minutes today. It's rough. It's rough on him. In the last game, like, he didn't really touch the ball, but just the step over, just that bit of intelligence created space. I think it was in the last game where it allowed. I think it was in the last game.
The last game against Burnley. Yeah, against Burnley, where he got the assist.
He got the assist.
Yeah.
He did that little step over thing. Well, he didn't really touch it, but that was enough to like do a thing. And I'm just thinking, and he got an assist. Yeah, he got an assist as well.
Right, he got an assist. Yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't get enough game time. And I just feel like Oli, I don't know. I'm hoping that he has some sort of plan next season about how he wants to use him. Yeah, my hopes are not on that as well. But
Yeah, he's
like
not. He just scared. Yeah, he just scared.
With Donny. Donny's one of those guys I can see. Once you get the best out of him, you quickly realize that he needs to be in your starting lineup. Like he needs to be one of the first people in your starting lineup. I think we'll realize that very soon, or very quickly, if we had a manager that just utilized him and saw what he can offer.
Yeah, Oli just need to just learn how to utilize like his midfield. Even today, I just saw the City lineup and Bernardo Silva. And well, you see their midfielders, it's just like to attack him because they got that defensive guy to just sit and just let their players go forward. Oli just need that. And I feel like he don't trust most of the players in his team. I don't know if he don't trust the players or what changes Oli, because when Oli came, Oli wasn't set up like this, you know. He had this moment where he was just kind of like playing, kind of like free. But that run that we went on such a bad run, and it shook him. That run that we ran on after he got a permanent manager's job, we went on a bad run to finish this season. And when we started to, we went on a bad run too. And I feel like it took his confidence away as a manager to just feel like, oh, you know what? If I play too open, I get exposed too much. So I'm not gonna do that. You know, and that changes stuff in him, because even if you have seen, I don't get why Pogba, he's having a problem with Pogba. He's having a big, and I don't care what anybody say. He don't know when to start Pogba, and when he start Pogba too, he don't know whether he's starting Pogba on the wings or in the midfield. The formation that he plays does not get the best out of Pogba. And he's starting to kind of like realize what to do. So I just hope next season, I don't know what his transfer businesses are, but I just hope his transfer business is to get all these kind of like important players, to get Bruno Fernandes and Pogba in the same team without having to put Pogba on the wing. I feel like that is one of his biggest kind of like challenge, because if you got these two creative players there, mate, you have to worry about your defense. But when we have more of the ball, Pogba is good on the ball, Bruno is not so much good on the ball, but at least you know that we can create something more all the time, you know. And I don't know. But I feel like I hope we win the Europa League. I feel like that would make him loosen up a bit. To be honest.
And that will add a little bit of change in our pockets as well, innit? I think you're getting there 8-10 million or whatever it is for winning that. Or
man, that's going to the Glazers. You forget about that.
But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, man. I feel like, so at the minute we're 10 points behind City. It's not a good look. City only got to win 2 more games and then the Premier League is theirs. Being 10 points behind a team like City for Manchester United is never good news. And I feel like we've been finishing the season double figures. It's becoming a norm. The gap is just too far and wide. I do feel like there's a lot of potential in this squad, right? There's a lot of potential in this squad. I feel like if you can have an Oli come to Manchester United, you know, get third, and like with a guy that's openly said, you know, he's heavily reliant on the likes of Mike Phelan, like his coaching staff, because himself is not like the most talented as a coach. Says a lot about obviously our backroom staff, even though he's got guys like Carrick there, not really guys that, you know, I feel like there's a lot that can be done with our current crop of players. And yeah, I mean, I'm Oli in right now because he's doing well, he's second or whatever, and at this minute, I can't really say fire him, thinking about who's coming in, like just adding all these factors together. It's just a bit, I can't really say, you know what, like, yeah, get rid of him and then you're going to bring in like who. That's still a bit confusing.
Yeah.
And I do know that, you know, once he leaves, if he leaves, whenever that is, you've got a good crop of players, man. And I feel like if you get a good coach that knows how to coach this team, knows how to fit in your Pogbas and your Brunos, we can see a team that's potentially got winning the league in their sights, rather than it being sort of like, you know, worrying about some fluke season of it for it to happen. But that's my advice. Obviously, you know, I like Brendan Rodgers, but I know he's had an affiliation with Liverpool. But you know, I mean, other than that, Pochettino's are obviously there, and there might be a random manager out there that can potentially lead the line for us. But
yeah, I feel right now it's just safe to kind of like say that Oli is going to be a manager for the next 2 seasons. That one I'm positive about that. Yeah. The thing about him, and I'll just say to you, if you look at the way we play, we are not bad. Yesterday, I read something that said that Arsenal have lost more games this season than Manchester United have in the last 2 seasons, which was very shocking for me to actually believe. So our team is not. It's not.
I think it's 4 games we've lost.
We've lost 4 and we've drawn 10 games, and that's what I'm just trying to tell you. And the 10 games that we've lost only 4 games this season, 4, but we've drawn 10, and that is the big. We have lost the same amount of games as City has, you know. But the difference between us and City is those games that when you are drawing, how do you turn those draws into win? Games like today, City would have won it. You know, they would have just either do an attacking position or push all the players forward, something, you know, to kind of like get the win. And that is what the problem is right now. We just need to find a way to get that, that win. Yeah. And that is what we need to do. 10 draws. If you that out of that 10 draw, you turn 6 of them into wins, mate, we will be on top of City today.
Yeah, we would.
You know, we will. So we just need to just turn those draws. It's just too much draws. And if you look at last season table 2, we drew more games too. We lost a few, but we drew more games. We draw too much as a team, and that's a big problem. We shouldn't be drawing that. Those draws need to be turned into a win. And it all comes with the creative players in your midfield, you know, and that's where we're going to change those. So Ole just need to find a way. He needs to sit down there somewhere to say, hey, my team draw too much. What am I going to do to change these draws into wins, you know?
A random one, yeah, before we close.
Why?
A random one.
I say, yeah.
Yeah, a last point here before we wrap up, yeah, is I know there's creativity, but also there's that bit that we need to do with Cavani and figure out what's happening. It looks like he's going back. We need to replace him, right? This is probably for transfer talk, but I've been looking at Ollie Watkins, and I think like he looks like a decent type of guy. He looks like a decent striker. He's not in your face at the minute. He's not a guy that's set in the Premier League I like, but I've been looking at him thinking, could he be someone that United can go for? He's not going to be too expensive, just coming through before he turns into a Calvert-Lewin and they're slapping the 80 million price tag on his head, or Grealish or whatever like that. Could he be the next up-and-coming star? And can he cut it at Manchester United?
I don't think so. Because once again, you know, when you look at players, one thing you need to look at is also their style of play. Because obviously, as I said, with Villa, teams give them more space to play. I haven't really watched him, so I don't know how his quarter play is. I don't know how much chances like he kind of like score and miss. So I don't really know a lot about him. But I don't know. Right now, United, we are looking for that guy, that physical kind of like presence, you know, to be in a team, to be just scoring those kind of like goals. I feel like one guy that would have been perfect for this team is Danny Ings from Southampton. He will fit perfectly into, if you want to go for like a cheap center forward in the Premiership, he will be your guy, you know. He will literally just come in there and then boom, get those goals. But I don't know. I feel like he's a bit kind of like similar to Martial, you know. So if you're not getting supplies, guys like this don't perform. You need those players that even if when you're not supplying them, they will get that one chance and then just like score for you, you know. And those kind of players, they cost a lot of money.
14 goals this season, 4 assists. Ollie Watkins, 14 goals this season, 4 assists.
What, in the Premiership? He got 14 goals in the Premiership.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So that's like just 2 behind Bruno Fernandes then. That's not bad for a team in Aston Villa though. But it just...
He got 26 last season in a championship. Got 26 goals and 3 assists in all competitions. I mean,
I will buy him and loan him. I will buy him and loan him to teams like Everton and stuff. Because, you know, I read this thing about Morgan Sliding. I think he used to play for Southampton. We bought him. And sometimes it's just the pressure of playing for Man United. A lot of players cannot handle that, you know. He can play in Aston Villa and go like 3-4 games and not score, and no one is going to bother that. But with Man United, you have one bad game, and they will crucify you. Look at Harry Maguire, for example. He has done okay this season, you know. He hasn't been the worst defender in the Premiership. He's been very constant. He don't get injured. He's good, but he get criticized a lot. You know, because we demand more from him. I don't know yet. I feel like Cavani is definitely leaving. I feel like he's leaving, and I don't know who we're gonna get to fill that void. You know, I don't know who we're gonna get to fill that void.
This is why it's got my brain ticking. You see, I'm trying to think outside of the box, and especially in the Premier League, because I know like Oli likes his best of British. So I'm thinking about the outside of the box of the English players. And Ollie Watkins is one of the outstanding stand-up performers who's not yet got that silly price tag, I don't think, where you'll probably be able to get him at a reasonable price, not like Grealish. But yeah, it's one to watch, man. It's one to watch. So obviously, right now, as we speak, it is Manchester City versus Tottenham in the Carabao Cup final. And look, we all want to see Tottenham do their thing, lift that cup. Can they do it? First time in like my history of them winning anything, from what I can remember anyway. Let's hope, man, because we don't want City walking away with a treble, because they can't do the quadruple, right? But they can do the treble.
They can't do the quadruple no more. They can't do the quadruple. But it's the Carabao Cup. They've been winning it for 3 years. Who cares, anyways? Who cares? But maybe Harry Kane needs to win that, and after he win that, he can just say, hey, I've won something with Tottenham, so let me just leave there and come to United. But at least it's still a trophy, you know? It's still a trophy. I would have loved us to kind of like be playing there today. But I don't know. Hopefully, Thursday's a good game. Hopefully, we go there. First leg is at Old Trafford, which I'm a bit kind of like skeptical about, because Oli likes to play always the first leg. He likes to just play defensively. But one thing about him is, since he took over Man United, he has only lost 2, what do you call it? When it's a 2-leg competition, he's only lost it just twice. That was against Barcelona, and I think he's lost it twice against Man City. Man City and Barcelona are the only team that have knocked him out in a 2-leg competition too. So I don't know. I'm hoping first there's going to be another probably like boring game, and you know, if we score first, you know what he's going to do? He's going to get that one goal, try to get one goal into the second leg, and I hope that don't kind of like go and bite us. But it's going to be a good game against Roma. It's going to be a good game.
Relying on Cavani, and I hope that tactical decision. I mean, obviously Cavani's not quick to keep up with the pace of Leeds today and all of that. But in terms of resting him, I hope that helps in our favour against Roma, because Roma is made for the big stage. I mean, Cavani, sorry, made for the big stage. It's not Champions League stage, but it's the next thing there. And hopefully Cavani will come into that game fresh. You know what I mean? Sure.
Oh yeah.
And then he's celebrating like that. You get me? So
I can already tell you our lineup already. I can tell you our lineup already for Thursday. You know, De Gea and goal, Maguire and Lindelof. You go Luke Shaw. You go Wan-Bissaka. You go McFred. Both of them are going to start. You go Bruno. You're going to get Rashford, Pogba, and then Cavani and Bruno. Sure, that's how it's going to be. I feel like Greenwood is going to miss out. I really feel like Greenwood. I feel like he's going to start Pogba on the left and then Rashford on the right. Definitely going to do that. Definitely going to. And then he's going to have both McFred sitting there. So it's just predictable anyways. But hopefully we just get that kind of like 1-0 or whatever it is.
In the beginning of the season, we was complaining that Oli doesn't know his strongest squad, or he doesn't know what he's doing right. At least now we could say, this is the team that he's going to choose for that game. This is the team that he's going to choose for this game. At least we know what he's going to do. At least we understand them a little bit. Like we never knew that before. So,
but then if Martial was fit, then what? If Martial, because you forget about that, you know. If Martial was fit, then there's kind of like we're going to be like, okay, so now what? Because if Martial is fit, either you leave Martial out or you leave Pogba out, you know, and that is where the whole thing is. And we're talking about squad rotation. Next season, for example, if you get Sancho into the team, and let's just say Pogba stays, and let's just say Cavani too, let's just say stay, who's your front three? Who is going to be Oli front three going forward? Is it going to be Rashford, Cavani, and Sancho. And if you do that too, you're probably going to leave Pogba out because he's not going to be in the midfield. So you're going to leave Martial out and Pogba out. And then you go Van der Beek out. So it just felt bad. Hopefully, Thursday, the key is going to be getting a clean sheet because I know for a fact we're going to get an away goal in Rome. Because, with AC Milan, remember when we done the match preview, AC Milan said we're going to get away goal. We know how to score away. It's just a matter of can the first leg suit? And I feel like Ole would take a nil-nil into the second leg. Then he will, yeah. So that game is going to be a similar game to the Leeds game today anyway. So we should just embrace ourselves for that kind of a game on Thursday.
I mean, those away goals are important, man. We've seen it in all these games. Those away goals are important. So we need to make sure that we protect ourselves from it and get one for ourselves, or two, or three.
Right.
Well,
right.
That was a wrap. That's a wrap. This is the OT99 Banter Room, where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. You heard it from myself. You heard it from NK. Look, we're going to be back again. Roma, Manchester United, first leg, where we're going to be delivering our thoughts and opinions on the game. Manchester United drew, but hopefully we can pick ourselves up in our next game. Look, Liverpool's around the corner as well. That's big business over there, and we've got a lot to talk about with that game. It's not as important as it would have been before, but there's still a lot of rivalry, and there's a bit of gloating that we need to do in that game as well. So look, hopefully we can get a result there. But you know what? I'm about to catch the rest of this game. NK, till next time.
All right.